Charlotte Moore, director, Molly Sweeney.
Great. You know, we had the great pleasure of listening to you speak in an interview with Gordon Edelston.
Very nice of you.
No, it was amazing. Fantastic. I mean, you know, I could probably collect stories for the next 3 hours. I promise not to do that. But you are. How long have you been with the Irish Rep?
Well, Ciaran O'Rielly and I started it in 1988.
And it was a surprise to you.
It was an amazing surprise. Not that it was much good at the beginning, but that it sold out. And so we kept doing it until we got good.
Yeah. I'm curious, just, you know, it's not often we transfer productions here to Longworth Theatre, and it's a great opportunity to sort of talk about these other great theaters out there working in the world. I'm just curious, is there a production or is there a production that you hold particularly close to your heart?
I love all the Ciaran O'Rielly's.
Really? Talk
About Hard.
Yeah.
Plough in the Stars, Juno and the Paycock, Shadow of a Gunman.
Yeah.
We've done all of those a couple of times, and they're very, very hard, but extremely rewarding. I also like Brian Friel very much. This is our fourth.
Your fourth production of his. You're going to rehearsal for Dancing at Lunasa, is that what?
Yes, I am. It's very scary.
Oh, it's exciting. It's thrilling. It's thrilling. So tell me about Molly Sweeney, if you wouldn't mind telling us about the play. What is it?
Brian Friel read an article by Oliver Sacks, and I think it stuck in his head about the phenomenon of being blind since a tiny bit of time after birth, and then having your sight restored. And the statistics are stated in the play. 20 people in 1,000 years have managed to survive. And I think that mystery of that being unable to see and then having your sight restored appeal to Brian Friel. A mystery like that, a psychological mystery and a soul mystery, I think, appeal to him. And who better?
Sure. I'm curious, how does it speak to you?
It speaks to me. I think you can't watch this or be involved in this play without putting yourself in the place of Molly Sweeney and thinking, well, I could do that. But 20 people in 1,000 years have survived, so it's very hard, it's very difficult. It's not a snap of your finger.
Right. Now, you have had a great and illustrious career as an actor.
I've had a very nice career. I wouldn't call it illustrious.
Oh well, I think of it as illustrious. And I'm curious, as a director, how. I'm sure your experience as an actor must inform your work as a director.
Every moment of my life that I'm directing a play, I am that actor.
Yeah.
And I watch almost every performance of the plays I direct, and I'm working as hard as they are and helping them and doing it for them every moment. Every moment. But in rehearsal, I am that actor because I'm as vulnerable as they are. It's as hard to learn their lines. I respect acting enormously. It's not easy.
Right. You've done, how many productions would you say you've done with Ciaran now?
Directing him?
I guess, yeah, sure.
Well, acting with him, I've done a couple, and directing him, I've done maybe 10 or 12.
Really? So you must have a shorthand with him by this point.
We have a shorthand in life and in art.
And what's that collaboration like? Could you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. It's a fight to the death. That's what it's like. Because we're very different. We respect each other enormously, but we rarely agree on any point and have to talk it out, which helps. It makes those points stronger and better.
Sure. Is there a way that you would describe the two of you independently? Like how it sounds like you're very different. If you argue about everything,
it's a fiery relationship.
Is it?
It is.
Yeah. That's funny. Where do you come from?
I was born in southern Illinois. My grandparents came from Ireland, from County Wexford, and settled in Kentucky across the river in Cairo, from Cairo, Illinois, and then came up to farm in southern Illinois, which they did. And I was born on a farm. I can milk your cow.
I've done that before, actually. And may I ask, we've been sort of asking the question sort of across the board, which is how you got into the art, how you got into the
Well,
art of theater, acting.
I think so many actors and people in the theater and whatever that whole medium are born into it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when I saw a first movie,
Right.
but that was it.
Yeah.
I wanted to do that.
Great. You wouldn't remember what that film was, would you?
Oh no,
Yeah.
goodness. I must have been a real baby, but I wanted to do that. I know I did.
Yeah. Can I ask you what are the challenges of a piece like Molly Sweeney to you? The beautiful story, no question, and profound ideas at play.
The language is not easy.
How so?
Even for a deeply Irish person from Donegal, it's not easy. The challenges, I think putting yourself into, certainly her, putting yourself into such a position of being the object of both frustration while you're having it yourself, frustration, a bit of anger, and a bit of a love object, and really not knowing how to handle that character. So you have to figure out your take on how to handle that character and become that character. It's not an easy, none of those roles is easy.
Sure. Is there a moment in the play that you're particularly drawn to? A moment that you...
A moment in the play I'm drawn to. I like the end.
Yeah.
I like when things are over, you know where she is, you know what's happening to her, you know where the other people are. Her husband is in Ethiopia, her doctor has resolved his difficulties, and she is not well.
Right.
Just ask me one of my favorite moments, times in the play, my favorite moments. Do you have one?
The applause at the end.
Is it hard? It must be a real feat to make it through an evening. Simone earlier was saying that that it's actually it's maybe not surprisingly difficult to be doing these performing monologues because you don't get the same kind of energy exchange, I guess.
Right.
When you're working with another actor in a scene.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's definitely that. I mean, and you're sort of pitting yourself against yourself almost each night.
How do you mean?
Well, I mean, each moment. Anyhow, are you rolling?
Yeah, we're rolling. We're totally rolling.
I'd say each moment has various responses and hits you in different ways on any given night.
Mm-hmm.
So you sometimes try to relive something that may have happened the night before that won't necessarily happen all the time. So it's very much
of the moment.
Yeah, and it's yourself as well. You know, you're telling your story only.
Right. I started the interview with Charlotte asking about Irish Rep, and I'm just curious. I mean, can you want to tell a story about how the two of you met?
Sure. We were doing a play by Hugh Leonard called Summer that Brian Murray directed, and a lot of wonderful people in that play that we stayed friends with for years. Susie Kurtz was in it. The wonderful Pauline Flanagan was in it, and anyhow we hit it off and we were great friends.
Brian Murray was in it. David Canary, the great soap star, was in it.
So so. We were great friends, and then we some years later decided to put on a play.
Let's put on a show.
and then it was a second play, then a third, and then suddenly it was a season, and then there was another season, and then it goes on and on.
How often do you look back in astonishment?
Hardly ever.
No,
Let's see. Talk about of the moment.
Yeah. Don't look back much. Just keep on doing it. And then sometimes you're walking around the theatre down there, and there's suddenly the walls are just full of posters and programs, and you think, oh my God, there is a lot of stuff there.
Yeah. I was completely struck by that when I came out and visited you all. It was magnificent. Actually, just the history alone is pretty amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty amazing. Is it challenging? The Charlotte was saying earlier, one of the challenges. I'm curious. Maybe we'll ask you. Sort of, is there anything particularly challenging about a play like Molly Sweeney for you?
Well, the very fact that once it begins, you're just there, and there is nobody to help you out. That you just have to go for it each night, and and my character is so impetuous and so out there that it's that any hesitation and you're lost.
Right.
So you just have to go and pray that everything will remain in that head, that very woolly head, and that it will come out, and there's not just and it won't come out as gibberish.
I think he's one of the most important, certainly one of the most important playwrights alive today. He's that's a precious quantity. I mean, he's frail sometimes, and one wants to treat him with the greatest respect while we've got him, and do whatever work he has produced. You want it to be wonderful while he's here.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say, I mean, one of his first huge successes was Philadelphia, Here I Come, which was it was huge for our company as well, as well, and we've done it twice, and to great success both times, both from a critical point of view and audience point of view. So he really, Brian Friel is our national poet almost, because his writing is just so lyrical and so wonderful and funny, and he just absolutely speaks the nation's language, I think. I mean, nobody does it like him. He's the best there is, and he's the best that we've had since maybe Sean O'Casey or John Millington Synge. I mean, he certainly deserves to be on that same tea towel.